Before we get to our review, we have done our utmost to avoid any major spoilers in this video, and will only be showing gameplay of officially revealed kingdoms. But while we've tried our best to avoid any major spoilers, you may still consider some of what follows a spoiler even if we wouldn't ourselves. You've been warned. Mario sure does know how to make an entrance. So what you're looking at is the actual footage of some of my earliest moments of Super Mario Odyssey. And I'm not showing it for what it is, I'm showing it because of what it meant to me. Between the lovely visuals, the whimsical music, and the vast world that lied in front of me, my eyes began to tear up. Oh, and you better believe there were more tears later on too. I was overwhelmed with feelings. This is the sequel to Super Mario 64 that I've been waiting 20 years for. And it all comes together in a most beautiful fashion, surprising and delighting at almost every turn. And it's all pulled off with a confidence that seemingly only 30 years of game experience could deliver. It's clear from the very start that Super Mario Odyssey is a little different, as it begins how most any other Mario game would end, with Mario already fighting Bowser to rescue Peach. And while the story from that point may be pretty conventional, the gameplay that comes afterward is anything but. I mean, you're literally playing as a mustached frog a few minutes later. That's right, because Mario's latest traveling companion is a magical hat named Cappy, and it enables Mario to capture almost any creature or object that he throws it at in order to take control of them, with all their abilities and weaknesses left intact. And this is game-changing. Every single creature that you can capture handles entirely uniquely. No two feel alike or anywhere close, and it's in this very mechanic where a big part of Super Mario Odyssey's magic lies. The sense of discovery in not just what you can capture, but what you can then do with them afterward. Bullet bills become the key to crossing chasms or breaking open special boxes. Tropical wigglers can stretch like an accordion for precariously placed collectibles. And Cheep Cheeps provide a means of exploring underwater without the risk of running out of air. Yeah, Super Mario Odyssey isn't just a journey of the body, but of the mind. Mario's mind. And with so many things to capture, the gameplay is changing constantly. Capture a tank, and the game effectively becomes a shooter, which is a little weird when you think about it, and yet it totally works. Every capture target offers a unique style and learning curve to master, without ever feeling confusing or cumbersome. Let me tell you, I have a newfound respect for Hammer Brothers. Trying to hit enemies with arcing projectiles isn't nearly as easy as it looks. And that capture ability also ties into something else that I didn't expect from Super Mario Odyssey. The mere act of locomotion or getting around is fun. Take the Gushin enemy for example, which when captured allows you to freely rocket around as long as your water supply holds out. Or how the out-of-control Jaxies make crossing the vast desert of the Sand Kingdom an absolute blast. Even the wonderfully integrated 2D segments are often just a super stylish and fun way of getting from point A to point B. Oh, and quick side note, I really can't stress enough how freaking cool it is to see these 2D style levels mapped onto a 3D space. Even Mario himself handles at least as good as ever, with his new momentum-based roll in particular being a joy to use, especially on hills. Whee! Excuse me. The controls are tight and rarely leave room to blame anything but yourself for messing up. And there's perhaps no better showcase for Mario's core jumping skills than the brand new Metro Kingdom, or New Donk City, which has quickly become one of my favorite 3D Mario levels ever. A concrete jungle is so mind-bogglingly perfect to Mario's jumping skills, it's a wonder we haven't seen something like this sooner. It's so freaking fun to bound off taxis and onto lampposts, which you can then swing from before clambering up the nearby buildings with wall jumps, which you can then jump between with some seemingly death-defying leaps. Who would have guessed that some of Super Mario Odyssey's most compelling gameplay would be in a world completely free of enemies? Unless those honking taxis count.
Hey! I'm walking here! I'm walking here!
And New Donk City is just one of more than a dozen new kingdoms that come in a variety of shapes and sizes, with each one looking and feeling completely different from the next, with maybe a couple of exceptions, but more on them later. During Mario's journey, you'll venture across vast deserts, explore a long-lost region, clamber up steel structures in the forest, and swim through tropical locales. And most of these kingdoms are simply wonderful. Each one is packed to the brim with power moons, being the main collectible to find this time, which powers your airship, allowing you to then access later kingdoms. It's almost ridiculous how many power moons there are to find in total. Think around Korok Seed numbers. But unlike Korok Seeds, the power moons are integral to the experience and actually feel rewarding to find. particularly with a variety in which they can appear, whether as a reward for beating a boss, or landing an impressive shot with a chain chomp, or winning first place in a race against a roaming band of Koopa Troopas, or perhaps just by breaking the right box, or figuring out the solution to an obscure piece of artwork, or catching a wily rabbit, or, well, you get the picture. It is seriously impressive how creative Nintendo got when it comes to tracking down these moons. And they're exactly why exploring in Super Mario Odyssey is so damn fun. It encourages you to look in every nook and cranny and to try some unconventional things. Yeah, there probably is something at the top of the tower there, but doesn't that manhole look a little different from the others? Like in Breath of the Wild, it can almost be tough to stay focused on a single task, because of how many things there are to compete for your attention. Luckily, the game does a brilliant job of helping to keep you on the main story path if you want, by always marking the next major objective with a persistent shining beacon. But of course, you're always free to ignore it and explore and complete the story at your own pace. And in a neat twist, the levels evolve and change as you play. Like how the Snow Kingdom begins covered in a dense fog that's almost impossible to see through, until it eventually clears up when you complete some objective. But for as great and well designed as most of the kingdoms are, not quite all of them are a home run. I started to dread returning to the Luncheon Kingdom, as it consists of a confusing series of landmasses surrounded by lava. And while capturing a lava bubble will allow you to swim through it, it's still not a particularly fun kingdom to get around. And it doesn't help that the art style here really did nothing for me. It certainly stands out, it just didn't resonate with me. And while I loved the Seaside Kingdom, a second water-based kingdom felt dull and cramped by comparison, which wasn't helped much by the lack of engaging things to capture. And then there's the unlockable post-game challenges. Don't worry, I'm not going to show them, but I do want to talk about them in extremely vague terms. Okay, so here's the thing. You can technically finish Super Mario Odyssey in about 10 to 12 hours if you focus on completing it with a bare minimum amount of power moons. And that entire journey is simply fantastic, being a whirlwind of unique sights and challenges. But even after beating Super Mario Odyssey, you've really only just begun, as there are still at least 4 times as many power moons to find. And that will easily take you another 50 hours at least. I know, because I barely managed to find them all just in time for this review. And that is absolutely massive for a Mario game. I know you can't see me now, but I'm holding my arms out really far. And even more impressive is the fact that I was still having a blast for most of that time. Sure, the gameplay loses just a little bit of its luster with the main plot already being wrapped up, but tracking down all those power moons remains engaging thanks to the endlessly creative ways Nintendo found to hide them. That is, until maybe the final 5% of them or so, where some of them were so deviously hidden that trying to find them sometimes felt like looking for a needle in a haystack. And as a result, the levels started to lose just a little bit of their magic once I'd explored them so exhaustively. And then there are a few other moons that are annoyingly tied to harder versions of tasks that you've already completed. I have a feeling that trying to jump the stupid rope 100 times is going to annoy more than just a few of you. Thankfully, the game does provide a couple of assist features that can help in tracking down some of those pesky moons if you find yourself truly stuck. Like a parrot that will provide clues to the next one, sometimes barely, and a toad that will mark their general location on your map, for a price. Although neither of those two options will help you in tracking down the 100 purple coins to be found in each kingdom, which are also required from 100%ing the game. And even in the post-game, you'll continue to unlock additional challenges, the first of which is pretty fantastic, even if I wish it went just a little bit further with its concept. You'll know what I mean when you get there. But as for the others, well, let me just say that when I saw the title of the final one, I thought the game was making a really bad joke, even if the challenge still does end up being fun in its own right. Now, you'll unlock that final challenge just a little over halfway through the entire adventure, which, as you might have guessed, means the reward for 100% in the game is pretty underwhelming. And as such, I would only recommend finding all the moons to the most hardcore gamers. Otherwise, I'd suggest just playing up to the point where you feel content with the amount that you've played, before you reach the point where finding power moons almost becomes more frustrating than fun. But considering that my main complaint so far involves not just a post-game, but the final 5% of it or so, is almost more commentary on how truly wonderful the rest of Super Mario Odyssey is. This is truly a beautiful game, both to play and behold. There will be moments where you just want to take a break and take it all in, whether it be the flowing falls of Cascade Kingdom or the rippling waters of Seaside. There is even a certain beauty to the cityscape that is New Donk City. Although that level also does showcase one of Super Mario Odyssey's shortcomings, because while the game mostly runs at a smooth 60 frames per second, there are some notable frame rate hitches at times, most prominently in New Donk City. I never found it to be too distracting, but it was one of the few blemishes in an otherwise fantastic game. The music is also great throughout the game, with the Cascade and Wooded Kingdom tracks being particular standouts. Oh, and when I heard Jump Up Superstar within the full context of the game, well, let me just say that was another eye-tearing moment. Super Mario Odyssey is pretty much everything I had hoped a Super Mario 64 sequel would be. in addition to things I never thought it could be. They return to the more open levels, invites and rewards exploration in ways that no game since Super Mario 64 has quite captured. And speaking of which, the capturing mechanic is brilliant, switching up the gameplay to a degree far beyond the power-ups of past games, and it makes for a persistently fresh experience where the mere act of getting around is fun in and of itself. Super Mario Odyssey is something truly special. It's one of those rare games that comes along maybe once every 10 years or so, that even if it's not quite perfect in every way, it's pretty much close enough. And I found it to be truly mind-blowing with just how good it is for the bulk of my 60 plus hours with it. Games as good as this don't come along very often. Savor it. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Super Mario Odyssey and everything else Nintendo as well.